Going on, everybody? It's Key Time coming back with another one to talk about week 5 of the NFL season. There was a lot that happened in week 5 of the NFL season. So, the first game I want to talk about is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk Cousins, he had a historic night. 509 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Baker Mayfield, he had an average night. 19 of 24, 330 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. And here's also another thing. Here's a stat that nobody knows. Over the last 15 years in the NFC South, the team that has the first place lead after 5 games in a season goes on to win the division. So the Falcons, they are at the number 1 spot in the NFC South. So let's see if they are able to withstand and withhold this first place finish that they are going to do eventually. The next game I want to talk about is the New York Jets and the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold, he didn't have a good game. He was 14 of 31, 179 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Aaron Rodgers, he had a terrible game up to his standards. 29 of 54, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. So when you look at this game was a rendition of how the New York Jets season has gone. They beat up on bad teams. They beat up on Tennessee, and they beat up on their arch rival, the New England Patriots. But against real competition and top-notch competition, they fold, just like they did versus the Vikings and earlier in the season, the San Francisco 49ers. So this game right here, and even third down percentage was atrocious for both teams, but the Vikings were more efficient. Third down, 5 of 17 for the Jets. Third down for the Vikings, 4 of 13, but they were more efficient on the ground, the Vikings were. So when you look at this game, the Minnesota Vikings are 5-0 for the first time since 2016, where they started off 6-0. Are the Vikings able to withstand and make it to the playoffs? It remains to be seen, but they are one of 2 undefeated teams in the NFL currently. So that's all I have for the New York Jets Vikings game. The next game I want to talk about is the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears. Now, this game was a blowout. Caleb Williams had a great game. 20 of 29, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Andy Dalton and Bryce Young played for the Panthers. Andy Dalton, 18 of 28, 136 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Bryce Young, 4 of 7, 58 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. So, what can I say about the Panthers? They shouldn't have took Bryce Young out. They shouldn't have took Bryce Young out of the starting lineup. They should have left him in there. And then after the game gets out of hand, you bring in Andy Dalton, because Andy Dalton, he's just a big question mark. He's not an answer. How long is Andy Dalton going to be there? Don't nobody know. But as far as the Chicago Bears, I still had them coming into the season. I had them as a dark horse team to make the playoffs. I still see that, but I have to look at the improvement that I've seen on the offense side of the ball. Now, although credit, it was the Carolina Panthers, but to see Caleb Williams throw for over 300 yards for the very first time in his NFL career, it's great. So this game right here it was basically a get right game for the Chicago Bears, because you see third down efficiency. The Chicago Bears, they need to get that done more and improve that more, because they were 4 of 11, and then the Panthers were 3 of 12. So this game right here, it was up and down all over the place. It really was. So, but the Bears, they did what they had to do, beat up on an inferior team. The next game I want to talk about is the Ravens versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, this game right here, it was a rendition, a offensive shootout, if I may say. Lamar Jackson, 26 of 42, 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Joe Burrow, 30 of 39, 392 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And that 1 interception proved costly because that came in overtime. And then you see where the Baltimore rushing game with Derrick Henry, they cracked over 100 yards of rushing. Now Cincinnati, they are 1-4 right now. They've lost twice in this is their first loss in the division. And they've lost all 3 of their home games. So, is the season over for the Cincinnati Bengals? I hate to say it, but it might be, because you are 1-5, and the Bengals, they have a tough schedule. They still got to face the Ravens twice, the Steelers twice, and the Browns. Well, the Browns, they street trash. They season is done and over with. I don't know what I'm seeing with Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, but he is not the same. He is not the same Deshaun Watson that we saw in Houston. But back to the Bengals. The Bengals defensive coordinator, he has got to change up his defensive schemes and everything else. He's got to change all of that up. If he doesn't change that up, he will not be able to stay the defensive coordinator for the Bengals, because they are going to fire him for lackluster defensive performances. So as far as the Ravens concerned, after starting 0-2, they've won 3 straight. Sky's the limit for them. We knew that after 5 games that either they would be even though they would be 2-3 or 3-2. They are on the right side of 500. They are above 500. And the Ravens, they have a home game coming up next week. So this was a great division win. Cincinnati, you got to get better. You just got to get better. You even got Joe Burrow saying that the Cincinnati Bengals aren't a championship team right now. And they are not, because offensively, they have question marks. Defensively, they still have question marks. The only consistent domino you have is Jamar Chase. We don't know where T. Higgins is. T. Higgins just came out for injury, so he's trying to get back into the fold. But I think T. Higgins, like I said in the offseason, I believe T. Higgins has already had 1 foot out the door. Because if T. Higgins goes somewhere else, he is a number 1 wide receiver on day 1. So that's all I got to say for the Ravens-Bengals game. The next game I want to talk about is the Miami Dolphins and New England Patriots. Now this game was born because most of these points for both teams was just kicking field goals. Now the Dolphins, they won. They didn't score a touchdown. They won by just kicking field goals. The Miami Dolphins, they have the worst ranked offense in the NFL at 30. They are 32nd in the offense in total points, in total offense, and offensive efficiency. The team that is 32nd, the Cleveland Browns, 31st in offense, 31st in total points, 31st in offensive yards, and offensive efficiency. The Dolphins, they have Tyler Huntley at the helm. But if they want to get back into the fold of things, they are going to have to put all their eggs in one basket and hope that Tua comes back and be 100% immediately when he comes back, which that is not going to happen. I believe that if Tua doesn't come back within the next 3 or 4 weeks, the Dolphins, their season might be over. And who's to say their season is already over? Because you have illegitimate quarterback play. Tyler Huntley, he's just a career backup. You saw what he did with the Ravens, not last year, but the year before last. And you also saw what he did at his previous stop. So before all of you Dolphins fans say that we still have a chance to make the playoffs, you have to look at your roster. And Tyler Huntley is your starting quarterback for now. He hasn't had any game-winning drives, and he's just a career backup. He comes in mop-up duty and keeps everything held down. He is not a starting quarterback. So, congratulations to the Dolphins. The New England Patriots, we already know that you're a dumpster fire. Get ready for the 2025 NFL Draft, which comes up in April. So that's all I have to say. I'm going to go over the third down offense for both teams. Third down for the Dolphins, they were 2 of 11. Third down for the Patriots were 4 of 13. And both of them went on fourth down once and did not get a fourth down conversion. So this game was one of the worst games of week 5 in the NFL because we knew this game, it wasn't going to have much offense. The next game I want to talk about is the Cleveland Browns and Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders, they are 4-1 and 2-0 at home. So they've had early season success. Does this early season success display to the late season success that they are going to have? It remains to be seen. This is just week 5 right now. Come back to me in about week 12, week 13, and I will tell you if the Commanders are for real. But one thing I can say right now, Jaden Daniels is for real. 14 of 25, 238 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. His stats pretty much came back down to earth, but they still won in a blowout. Deshaun Watson, 15 of 28, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. We cannot have that. Cleveland Browns, everybody who is associated with the Cleveland Browns have buyer's remorse right now. They were expecting the Deshaun Watson that transpired in Houston. But it's 3 years later, and we still haven't seen the Deshaun Watson from Houston transpire in Cleveland, Ohio. That's why they call Cleveland the mistake by the lake, because people, they be making all of these mistakes, and Cleveland is right by Lake Erie, the mistake by the lake. This is another mistake that the Browns have made, thinking that they have a cornerstone quarterback, trying to come from one team and make him a franchise cornerstone quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. They done messed up again. Since 1999, the Cleveland Browns have went through 30 quarterbacks that thought that they had 30 times they thought that they had their franchise cornerstone quarterback, and 30 times they have been searching for other quarterbacks. Now, for the 31st time, coming into next year or after Deshaun Watson's contract ends, they're going to be searching for another cornerstone quarterback to lead their franchise for the next 10 years. But outside of that, the Cleveland Browns are just downright awful. I believe their season is over. They are not going to make the playoffs. And I had them right before the season as one of the teams that had plenty to prove this season, and they haven't proved anything. They are 1-4 right now. They still have the Bengals to play, still have the Ravens to play, and still have the Chiefs to play on their schedule. Plus, they still have to play the Texans. So it's going to be a long season for Browns fans. It really is. And Deshaun Watson, he don't even have to play for the rest of the season because his contract is fully guaranteed. If I was him, I would just say I'm hurt. I would just say I'm hurt, and you have Jameis Winston, the backup, coming to the starting lineup, and I just collect my paycheck every week without any worries. So that's all I have for the Browns-Commanders game. The next game I want to talk about is the Indianapolis Colts and Jacksonville Jaguars. Finally, the Jaguars have won a game. And finally, Trevor Lawrence, for the first time in 9 games, has won a game. So, coming into this game, we all know that Anthony Richardson was out. Joe Flacco had a good game, 33 of 44, 359 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And the Indianapolis Colts offense was really on another level. And the Jaguars offense, I believe they reached a breaking point because Trevor Lawrence, he had a good game. 28 of 34, 371 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and plus the rushing game for the Jaguars cracked over 100 yards. And the wide receivers, Brian Thomas Jr., he had a career day. Over 100 yards receiving, to be exact, 122. And also, as far as the defense concerned for Jaguars, they created turnovers for the Jaguars offense. They really did. And there's another thing that I want to say. The Jaguars' third down offense, they got to get better. They were 3 of 10, and the Colts were 7 of 14. Also, on 4th down, Jaguars went for it twice, got it once, got a 4th down conversion once, and also it was Trevor Lawrence's birthday on Sunday, and I said to myself, like, Jaguars ain't losing this game because Trevor Lawrence has never lost a game on his birthday. He's played 4 times. He's played 4 times on his birthday. In high school, he was 4-0. 2 times in college, he was 2-0. And 1 time Sunday in the NFL. So he's a perfect 7-0 on his birthday. He just does not lose on his birthday. So the Jaguars, they have the Chicago Bears coming up next in London, so that is going to be a good game. So, and the Jaguars, they have a favorable schedule. 2 of their next 3 games are against teams just like the Chicago Bears. So this is going to be, they might have a 3-game winning streak about time they come back to Jacksonville. So this is going to be a great way to start off a winning streak. And that is all I have for the Colts and Jaguars game. The next game I want to talk about is the Buffalo Bills and the Houston Texans. Now, the Buffalo Bills, what can I say about them? Josh Allen had a terrible game. I'm just saying it outright. 9 of 30, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. C.J. Stroud had a great game. 28 of 38, 331 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And that interception pretty much kept the Buffalo Bills in this game. Now, as far as outside of Keon Coleman, what top-notch receiver does the Buffalo Bills have outside of Keon Coleman? Because when you look at their receiving, they have Dalton Kincaid. He's a tight end. But outside of that, as far as a receiver that puts fear in defenses, they don't have that. Mac Hollins, he's average. Ray Davis, he's average. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he is below average. So you just, as far as the Buffalo Bills, you just have bodies out there for wide receivers right now, because Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he dropped so many balls for the Kansas City Chiefs last year. That's why he got traded. Mac Hollins, he was in Atlanta last year and then got traded away. Not because of bad play, just because they wanted new wide receivers. So the Buffalo Bills offense is a little stagnant right now when it comes to wide receivers. But as far as the Houston Texans offense, you got Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz. You have all of those guys, and plus you have a dominant defense for the Texans. So the Texans will be in the thick of things come December, early January. That's what I see with the Houston Texans. The next game I want to talk about is the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders. The Denver Broncos, they've won 2 out of their last 3 games. The Denver Broncos, are they able to? Like I said, before the season started, I said I could see the Broncos winning about at least 8 or I said at least 9 or 10 games. They've already won 3. And I wasn't expecting them to win 3 games so early in the season. But when you see Bo Nix, he's coming into his own. 19 of 27, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Gardner Minshew, he's had average quarterback play. Over the years, Gardner Minshew is just a career backup. 12 of 17, 137 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Aiden O'Connell, 10 of 20, 94 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The Las Vegas Raiders, they are a team that's in a rebuilding phase. They are not going anywhere anytime soon. They're not going to any playoffs. They're not going nowhere. So the Denver Broncos, I commend them. I commend Bo Nix. It seems like he is coming into his own. The Broncos, you have your quarterback for the foreseeable future. And also the Broncos offense this game scored more points than they had in their previous 3 games combined. Third down efficiency, well, they pretty much didn't have to worry about third down, because for the first and second down, the Broncos, they averaged 7 to 8 yards on first and second down. And you don't have to think about third downs so much when you are getting 7, 8 yards on first and second down. So with that is what I have for the Raiders and Broncos game. The next game I want to talk about is the next game I want to talk about is the Arizona Cardinals and San Francisco 49ers. Now, this was one of the upsets of the week. You got the Cardinals coming in, nobody expecting them to do nothing. And then first half, it was just all 49ers, and it seemed like they were just going to run away with this game. But in the second half, the Cardinals defense came to play. They didn't give up a single point. Kyler Murray was 19 of 30, 195 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Brock Purdy, he was 19 of 35, 244 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. So, when you look at the 49ers, this is not the same dominant 49ers defense of the past few years. This is not the same dominant 49ers offense of the past few years. They are at a crossroads right now. They are 2-3 going into Seattle on Thursday. So, coming out of Thursday's game, the 49ers could be 2-4, and that wouldn't look great because they have the Dallas Cowboys coming up. They have the Seahawks again. Then they have the Cardinals coming up again, and they have the Detroit Lions coming up again, and they also have the Kansas City Chiefs later on in the season in their schedule. So this is a make or break game for the 49ers coming up on Thursday versus the Seattle Seahawks. And as for the Cardinals, congratulations to the Cardinals on getting an upset win, an upset division win. And that is really important because as of right now, the Cardinals are second in the NFC West after beating the 49ers. So this is going to be a good game. That was a good game. And the not the Carolina Panthers, but the Arizona Cardinals, they are going to be a tough outing for anybody. The next game I want to talk about is the Green Bay Packers and Los Angeles Rams. Jordan Love, he had a decent game, 15 of 26, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Matthew Stafford, 29 of 45, 260 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. So I knew that the Rams, they were gonna start off the season like this. So in this game, I wasn't expecting much. From the Rams because they don't have Cooper Kupp back, and you look at their wide receivers now. They have Jordan Whittington, Tutu Atwell, Colby Parkinson, Demarcus Robinson, Hunter Long, Blake Corum, Xavier Smith, Karen Williams, and Davis Allen. So not too many of those players for the wide receivers for the Rams are big time receivers. So this is not going to be able to be a great offense. That's why I say when Cooper Kupp comes back, I don't even think that they need to bring Cooper Kupp back because you 1-4, your season is hanging by a thread. It really is. It's hanging by a thread. And I don't know if you can withstand some of these losses that you are going to get. Now, what really turned the game on its head for the Packers is third down. They were 1 for 8 on third down. The teams, now here's a stat. Teams that win in the NFL, win a game in the NFL that goes 1 for 8 on third down, the winning percentage is 0.22990%. So you're not even going to have a 1% chance at winning, but yet the Packers won. It was the ineptitude on offense that kept the Rams from extending their lead in this game because they were up at the half. And then it seemed like all of a sudden they laid a goose egg in the second half, and the Packers took over in the second half, and they did not relinquish the lead. So as far as that game, that's all I have for the Packers-Rams game. Now, the next game I want to talk about is the New York Giants and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, the upset of the week, I would say, is the New York Giants winning over the Seattle Seahawks because Daniel Jones. I got to give flowers. I got to give credit where credit is due. Daniel Jones, 20 of 34, 257 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Geno Smith, 28 of 40, 284 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. This game was tight. This game was tight throughout. And you see, when it comes to the New York Giants wide receivers and the Seattle Seahawks wide receivers, they pretty much was on the same, as far as statistics, they still had this, they had the same amount of yards. But where this game turned for me was the third down efficiency for the Seattle Seahawks. They were 3 of 11 on third down, and the Giants were 7 of 16 on third down. Like I said, when it comes down to it, when you win a game or lose a game, it is going to be third down and fourth down situations in a game. The Giants, they had more third down conversions, and as far as the Giants defense, they had 4 3-and-outs for the Seattle Seahawks in the game. So the Giants defense did pretty good. I was surprised that they came out and won this game in Seattle because it's hard to beat Seattle in Seattle with that raucous crowd and that 12th man. So congratulations to the New York Giants going into a hostile environment and winning that game. The next game I want to talk about is my Dallas Cowboys going into Acrisure Stadium and winning over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I know that it was a whole lot of mood swings with the Cowboy fans with this game, and I experienced all of them. It looked like that we were about to lose this game, but we stole victory from the jaws of defeat in this game. Dak Prescott was 29 of 42, 352 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Justin Fields was 15 of 27, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Where this game took a toll and where the Dallas Cowboys won this game, and I was so happy about this game, was third down efficiency. The Dallas Cowboys were 9 of 15 on third down. The Pittsburgh Steelers were 3 of 12 on third down. And the fourth down on fourth down, Dallas Cowboys went for it once. The Pittsburgh Steelers went for it twice. Both teams converted on both fourth down plays. Total plays, the Dallas Cowboys had more total plays. They had 75. The Pittsburgh Steelers had 57. As far as when it comes to penalties, Dallas Cowboys, they have got to control their penalties. They have got to do better when it comes to penalties. All of those false starts and illegal procedures, they are not going to go well with this. They are not going to go well when you get later on in the season. They are not going to go well. But where the Dallas Cowboys truly won this game, Dak Prescott has 23 game-winning drives. He won this game because he had 2 turnovers, 2 illegitimate turnovers, and also I was saying to myself, under 4 minutes left, Dak Prescott had the ball. I'm like, Dak, you have got to go win this game. And that is what Dak did. He willed his team to victory. Now, Rico Dowdle, he had the ball. He fumbled the ball. And who was there to recover the fumble? It was Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott just said on that fourth down, give me the ball. Y'all wide receivers, y'all get open, and I'm going to throw it to y'all. And Jalen Tolbert, the man that got injured the play before, comes up with the game-winning touchdown. That is the $60 man that all us Cowboy fans has invested ourselves in. Like I said, Dak Prescott, he has had game-winning drives, but this game-winning drive was not to the magnitude of those other game-winning drives, because the Pittsburgh Steelers, you dealing with a top-notch offense. It's hard to move the ball on a top-notch offense. So Dak Prescott did what he came to do. As a Dallas Cowboy fan, I'm excited. The Dallas Cowboys, they got the almighty Detroit Lions from the Motor City coming into Dallas this coming weekend. And let's see what the Dallas Cowboys can do against the Detroit Lions. But as far as this game, this was an entertaining game. It really was. And I'm just so happy for my Dallas Cowboys. These were the last two games. I believe they were season-saving games. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to make the playoffs and we're going to try and make some noise in the playoffs. No, I'm not saying that. But it's good to start a winning streak early in the season. It really is. The last game of the week happened last night, Monday Night Football. The New Orleans Saints versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Patrick Mahomes, first time in 15 games that he threw for over 300 yards. He was 28 of 39, 331 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Derek Carr, he was 18 of 28, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The New Orleans Saints, they have trouble running the ball because they only had 46 yards rushing. And also, when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs rushing game, they had over 100 yards. Where this game took a toll at for me, I watched the entirety of this game, was third down inefficiency for the New Orleans Saints. 4 of 10 on third down, and then they went for it twice on fourth down, did not get the fourth down conversion at all. Now, as far as for the Kansas City Chiefs, they are 5-0, currently share the best record with the Minnesota Vikings in the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs, as far as Travis Kelce, he had a good game. Travis Kelce he just had 70 yards, but it was a good game because the last three games combined, Travis Kelce combined for just 65 yards. So for him to have more yards in this game means that he is going to improve his stats. But to all the fans out there, I'm going to tell y'all something. The defenses pay more attention to Travis Kelce than they do any other offensive player on the Chiefs outside of Patrick Mahomes. So you know that all defenses are going to try and neutralize. They are going to try and neutralize Travis Kelce. They really are. So Kelce, he hasn't lost a step. It's just Andy Reid. I trust Andy Reid. He is going to find many different ways to initiate and get Travis Kelce more involved in the game. But all in all, this was a great game for the Chiefs. They've started out 5-0 for the first time since 2013, where they started out 9-0. So, Kansas City, top team in the NFL. Also, the Minnesota Vikings are 5-0 also as well. So, Are the Chiefs are the Chiefs playing their best football? No. And why would you want to play your best football in September and October? Save that for December and January. That's when you want to play your best football. All in all, it was a great week in the NFL, week 5. And with that, those are my reactions to week 5 of the NFL season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, community tabs, and other content. And also follow Key City Sports on TikTok. And remember one last thing, the key is always on time.